everybody. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. I thought today's topic would be a bit more fun and interesting to talk about. So, I thought it'd be a great idea to talk about our high school experiences because Sophia and I were able to go to high school with an overlapping time. So, we went to high school together for like 2 years. And I just want to see how different our experiences were.
Yeah, the topic does match my gloomy weather today.
So I initially wanted to start off by talking about how our timetables were arranged because
Because it's a bit different from other high schools, I feel like.
I feel like it is. Well, I've only been to one high school, so I can't really compare. But it seemed to be a very unique timetable system.
Yeah, and just right now, off recording, we had a mini argument because Sally insisted it was one thing, and I said, no, it's not. It's the other thing. So I literally had to write it down on a paper, and then we realized that I was right. So it's okay.
Yeah, we had to actually draw it out so we know what we're talking
Yeah.
about. So, Sophia, do you want to explain?
Yeah. Okay, so our high school, it was a bit interesting where you have 5 blocks in a day.
Which is like 5 time periods in a day.
Yeah, five. Let's say we could think of it as 5 subjects a day
Yeah.
that you would learn. Over that course of semester, you'd learn 5 subjects, but out of the 5 subjects, one was something called an off block, where technically you're supposed to use it for studying.
Yeah, but you just like didn't have class in that time period.
Yeah, so you don't have class. And the timings were so you'd essentially have 4 actual classes and one off block, like a study block
Yeah.
in quotations. Yeah. So so the timing, you would start from school at 8. What? Did that make sense? You would start from school. Okay. You would
I
start
don't know.
school
But it started at 8.
at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you would finish school. This is a weird time. So you finish school at 3:15,
It's
which
so
is
odd.
which everyone's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know
but
why.
then it'll make sense. It'll make sense. So we're gonna name the classes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on Monday, class it's 8 till 8:50. So you have, after the bell rings at 8:50, you have like 10 minutes if you need to like run to your locker to grab your other book for the next class. Or if your class was in like the second floor, one in the building, and then the next floor is like first floor, other end of the building, like you would legit have to run.
Yeah, because we had
Yeah.
more like English and social studies in the A wing, and then science and stuff were usually in the B wing, which was on the opposite
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
Yeah.
So 8 to 8:50, let's say, is your class number 1. And then from 9 to 9:50, you have class number 2. 10 to 10:50 is class number 3, and 11 to 11:50 is class number 4. And then you'd have break till about 2, like 12:50ish, like a lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have class from 1 p.m. to 3:15. That'd be class number 5.
And that's what we call the long
So-
block.
Yeah, that's a long block. So people might be thinking, then isn't it good to have an off block in number 5? Because then you'd go home early every day. But no, it rotates.
It rotates, so you're only allowed one off block that's long
per week.
per week.
So let's say on Monday it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then on Tuesday it would be 2, 3, 4, 5 lunch 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday would be 3, 4, 5, 1 lunch and then 2. Thursday would be 4, 5, 1, 2 lunch and then 3. And Friday would be 5, 1, 2, 3 lunch and then 4. So if you had number 4 as your off block, then on Fridays you go home at 11:50, okay?
It was the best.
But then if you, let's say you had number 1 as your long block off, you had number 1 as your study block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, apparently my brain's not functioning, okay? People bear with me. So if you had number 1 as your study block, then on Monday, you don't start school till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on Tuesdays, you would go home at lunch. So it kind of gives you that Monday, Tuesday a little bit like less painful to go to
So
school.
the thing is, for me, it didn't matter which block I had off. What was important is how many friends you had the same off block with. Because if you're the
true.
only one in the pretend off block 2 and all your friends had 3, then you're a loner when you have your study break. And you either just chill in the library and do nothing, or you sit in the floor of the library and still do nothing.
It's okay if your long block is off, then you just go home early before lunch. But let's say you have like on a Wednesday, let's say you have an hour off before break because you have number 1 block off. Then for 2 hours lunchtime, you're just sitting there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Like it's so I think no matter like obviously yeah you want to have classes with your friends, but as soon as you got your schedule for that semester, everyone asked what block off do you have, and you were like the best person ever if you have block 4 off because obviously you leave early on Friday, and it'd be even amazing if all your friends had the same block off. Because the good thing is if you had all the same block off together, right? So if we had an off block right before lunch break, we could go to the college that was across. Yeah, they have a cafeteria and you could all go with your friends and get the college cafeteria food because our high school cafeteria food was not very good. And you could just chill there for like 2 hours.
Okay, to be fair, high school cafeteria food isn't like what comes out in movies.
No, but the thing is, the place that was across high school actually was like a restaurant type of food. Like it was still a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was still better than
it's more like a gourmet burger.
Yeah, so it was still a lot better than the cafeteria food that you got in our high school. So it was worth it if you and your friends could go over and like get food together.
But can I just put this out there? Okay. I didn't know this, but we went to high school in Canada, right? So after Math 11, which is math you take in year 11, technically you don't need to take Math 12. It's not like a mandatory subject.
Yeah.
So after you take let's say Bio 11 or Chem 11, Physics 11, depending on which major you wanted to enter, the 12 subjects are not mandatory.
Yeah.
But me being the Asian, I didn't know that I was allowed to not take math. So I took Math 12. And by the way, I'm terrible at math. I'm so bad at math. So, I took Math 12. And Math 12 is okay. Because I'm an Asian and my mom taught me in advance. So I know Math 12 is okay. So I could have stopped there, but no. My Korean ass thought it was okay. Not okay. I have to take calculus. So even though I hated calculus, I took it because I just thought if I don't take calculus, maybe I'm gonna get in trouble. Is what my
yeah. Because for me, usually you're allowed to only schedule for 1 math class per year because you don't know if you're gonna be put in math in the first semester or second semester.
Or second.
So you're only allowed to apply for 1. So if you wanted to take calculus in high school, you'd have to take math 9, 10, 11, 12, and then calculus. So for me to do 5 courses of math in 4 years, I had to take 1 of them in summer school. So I took math 10 in summer school. So when I came to grade 10, I was doing math 11, and so far I was able to do calculus at my final year of high school. But the thing that I had amazingly was on the last year of high school, I was taking all the science classes I needed to apply for university. And that was the year the teachers had strike. They went on strike. So I had no finals for any of my subjects. I only had to take the English provincial exam, and that was it. I didn't have any finals for any of my subjects. So I passed without even having to do exams.
I'm thinking, I wonder if it's just Asians where their parents kind of force you to take certain classes, or if all other nationalities' parents kind of force you to take certain classes.
I think it's, so our high school, after you go into, once you enter grade 11, you can kind of choose if you're going to go into humanities or if you're going to go into science. Because from then on, you can either choose to take science, chemistry 11, biology 11, physics 11, or you could go to like social studies, history, and stuff like that.
Well, social studies 11, like, so social studies 11 is kind of a must because you need to take a provincial
Yeah, but I'm
exam.
saying like
And
the
then
other
after
ones.
social studies 11, it's history 12. it
Yeah,
goes
like you
to.
can take
Or law.
history. You could take like other classes.
Law, psychology.
Yeah, exactly. Just take stuff like that, which I didn't take. I took like the biochem physics because I was going into science, and yeah. So from science, from grade 10, I took like the honors science, and then from 11, I took 11 chemistry honors, bio honors, and I never took any physics honors because I didn't want to torture myself like that, and I wasn't that high of an achiever, so I didn't want to go into like physics honors and AP, but I did for bio and chemistry. But the thing I liked the most about our high school is that they had a very broad range of electives you could take.
That's true. I feel like schools in like Canada, US, like outside of Asian schools, they have a more strong emphasis on electives such as like home ec,
Like
woodwork,
skill
like
based
art. Yeah,
electives.
something that you could go to like an institute of technology to go further in your career rather than just university. Because, in my opinion, some people aren't just like university, they don't need it.
They don't.
I feel like if you're going into something like a blue collar job like plumbing, mechanics, carpentry, things like that, you have to go to an institute.
You have to
where
go to a
they can
trade
teach
school.
you those skills. Yeah, and I feel like that's such an important thing that in Asia that they don't really like, the parents don't really like it.
They say like, why waste
you
your time
go
on
through
that
the-
kind of electives when you can be studying more? Like that's the emphasis that Asian people have.
So in Asia, blue collar jobs make substantially less money than people with white collar jobs, like for office work, like lawyer, doctor, things like that. But if you go to like the other side of the world, like North America, or here like New Zealand, like
You're
Australia,
fine.
blue collar jobs make more
Yeah.
money. So let's say you had a plumber, right? Plumbers make a lot of money, but also if your house had a problem on a weekend,
You get double.
you'd have to pay like 180 bucks more just for the plumber to get
On
there
the weekend, yeah.
on a weekend. Yeah. So like construction, they make a lot of money, right? Construction, like road works. So in my opinion, you don't necessarily have to have a white collar job in westernized cultures for you to think that you've succeeded. If something like trade and those kind of skills are something that you really want, I think it's completely fine.
Yeah, like I think all the electives that I took were not like education based. So I never took like psychology or any of those electives. Like in my first year of high school, my elective was woodworking. It was the most, I think, out of all 4 years of high school, that's the class I've enjoyed the most. Because you really got to be creative and actually, like, you know, work with tools, learn, like, tool safety, see how much thought process goes through designing and building something. The hardest part was everything you do in woodworking, you use the imperial system. So you use inches and feet because you can put everything into a fraction. You don't have decimal points, which is easier for when you're cutting stuff and measuring stuff. But like our first project was to make like a gumball machine. So everyone got like a block of wood, and you could cut small pieces to make whatever you wanted it to look like. I think I made my gumball machine look like it was a wardrobe or like a drawer. So the bottom drawer, the gumball would come out, and you attach like a mason jar to the top. And then our final project was to make a table. You can make any size table you want. I know someone who made like a dining table size table.
How'd they take it home?
I know, right? Because you can't disassemble it. I made like a bedside table where the top opened and you had kind of like a slot to put stuff underneath. The thing that just pissed me off about that class is to make pieces like stick together, because obviously you don't have a plank of wood that's as big as the table you want it to be. You have to cut the planks and then you have to glue them together with their grains facing like opposite directions back and forth. So when like it gets humid, your table doesn't like arch and like, you know, expand. So I would glue the pieces together, and you would leave them like overnight so the glue can harden, and you could like sand it off and, you know, make it flat and smooth. Every single time I went there, my tabletop like would be gone. I don't know if someone stole it or if I just never found it, but I always had to make a new table, and it was getting to the point where I wasn't making any progress for like weeks because people kept stealing my stuff.
Yeah.
I had to ask the teacher to put it in his office because people were stealing my tabletops and table legs.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to finish that project in the actual semester. I had to stay after school to finish it in the next semester. I eventually did finish it, and it came out really nice, except Mom accidentally left it too close to the heater and burned the legs.
Oh my god.
But it came out really nice. So that's like one elective that I really, really did enjoy in high school. I did apply for Woodworks 10, but I never got in.
Okay, so for me, because I went back to school in an awkward grade, I couldn't take woodworks or like home economics, things like that, because those kind of subjects you have to take from like the
You have to
lowest
take
level.
9 and then you go to 11. Like there's no 10 level.
Yeah, so I can't take 11 because I haven't done 9, so my elective was economics.
Wow, real fun.
Wow.
You were like
I
a
know,
typical
and I was
Asian.
like, I know, and I didn't want to be because I'm not a typical, like, I don't mind being a typical Asian, but then, like, I'm not good at math.
And you took all the
I
ones
can't-
requiring math?
Yeah, and I, like, can't do physics, like, and I can't do, like, weird, like, I can't calculate chemistry. Like, when we got to the basic of organic chem, my brain just shut down, and I was like, okay, this is not the path for me. So
This
I
is
didn't
not
take
for
12
me.
because... So in 11, I took bio and chem. I did not take physics because I knew already that I cannot do physics. Physics is not
I
for
personally
me.
think physics is easier than biology and chemistry, but that's a different story.
I think biology is super easy because you just gotta memorize it.
That's what I hate. I hate memorizing. I like to understand.
So me and Sally are quite different. So my short-term memory
It's amazing.
is amazing. Okay, so when we were in China, when I first went to China, so we had to take tests of history in like Chinese, like Mandarin, right?
And there's Chinese history
could-
too.
Yeah, and I could memorize a semester's worth of notes in history in one night.
Mine was open
before
book and I
took
got
the
like
test.
30%, so...
Yeah, like, and mine was closed book. I could literally memorize an entire book in like one night. That's how,
And then she
I mean,
forgets it
now
like
I
right
can't.
after the exam. It just leaves
so
your
I mean,
brain.
You just need it at the so you need it at the exam, and then when are you gonna use it later in your life? I haven't used it since, you know. I mean, so like I didn't become a doctor or anything because probably wouldn't have been a good idea at this point. If I could only
you remember a
short-term-
diagnosis and forget that diagnosis ever existed like later on.
Yeah. So my brain is made for high school, like
Cramming.
short-term cramming. When I got to university, I stopped cramming and I actually like planned out and did my assignments like a week before it's due, blah blah blah. But like in high school, I would cram and I would still do okay. So I never thought that I needed to, plan out everything. But Sally's completely different.
I would study
Sally,
like
when she
2
comes
weeks
home,
ahead.
and she'd like review like straight away.
And what Mom hated
doing?
is I would make Mom sit and listen to me memorize and like talk
Yeah.
about everything when she didn't understand.
And like Mom didn't get it, so she'd just be sitting there with like,
Yeah,
when
and I'm
is
like,
this
oh,
gonna
Mom,
end?"
you don't get it? Let me explain it even further. And she'd be like, why am I here?
Save me, people. And Mom used to always complain when I was high school, like, I have never seen your butt on a chair, like, study.
You study after we
You
go
know?
to bed.
But then the thing is, when I bring home the grades, she'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
And then she can't really
Like, she never
complain
nagged you
because-
that, like, you should study because, like, you do fine. It's just she was wondering how you do so
No.
fine.
Mom used to nag so much, be like, how do you study when your butt's never on the seat? Like, you never study. But for me, when I was in high school, I was not a morning person. Like, I was a night person. And at night, from like 9 to 10, like 9 to 11 is when I would be studying the most efficiently, like putting things in
Cramming.
my brain. Not necessarily cramming, like even homework
Oh, you're those people.
during that time when it's like dark and quiet, I would sometimes concentrate so much when I have earphones listening to music. Like I would forget I'm listening to music, like I can't hear it.
Oh.
So when I'm in the zone, that's how much zone I'm in. I can't even hear the music that's going through my ears, is how much zone I'm in.
Because for me, whenever I had homework or like projects or whatever, I want to finish it. Like obviously, if I have an exam, I'd like study for it longer. But I want to finish
Yeah.
like all my homework by like 6 or 7, and then I could just chill
Yeah.
and then go to bed at like 10, 11.
But then in my opinion, I was in school the whole day. Until like 3:15, let's say. Do I really want to come home, study again till 6 and chill? No, I want to chill a little bit and then do my homework. I'm not cramming homework. I just work better in the evening, and I found that out, and it worked for me.
Yeah, like it's just
So in
you.
the-
You are more of a night owl than I am, because I could not work
Yeah.
at night.
And then in the end, like when I get my report card, yeah, maybe they're not like 100, but they're still like A's. So mom was just like, oh, like, you know, like,
You can't really
Can't
say
really tell her
anything,
to-
but
yeah. Like, you can't really say anything, but you're just annoyed that she's doing it like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm not following the standard rules of how you're supposed to study. And my penmanship is really bad as well.
oh yeah.
Because my right hand pinky, like, I have
Her
a
pinky doesn't
weirdo
bend.
knuckle. Okay. My pinky does not bend. So it only bends like the top joint of where actually my finger is. Where it connects to my knuckle, I
Sophia,
don't know,
it's not
maybe
where
I
it connects your knuckle. That is your knuckle.
Okay, where my knuckle is, it doesn't
Sophia
bend.
did
Like,
not take human
but it's-
anatomy, apparently.
Like, so for me, I have a bone and it's there, but it just doesn't
You don't
bend
have a
fully
joint.
down.
Maybe.
So when I brush my teeth, my mom would always complain and be like, "Why does your
No,
pinky
mom would always
stick
say,
out?"
"Are
I'm
you
like,
British?"
I know, but I'm like, dude, I can't fold it. It's not like I want to keep it tiny bit up, you know? I can't physically fold it in. So like when I hold a pencil, my pinky's
And it
sticking out. And everyone's
smudges.
like, yeah, and everyone's like, "What's wrong with your pinky?" I'm like, well, I can't fold it. What does
Crack it.
everyone want me to do? Go get a knuckle and put it in there, or what?
Yeah, like right where her knuckle is. Like, you know how you can bend your hand like 90 degrees? Sophia cannot do that with her pinky very well.
Well, I can fold it, but when it goes into
Oh.
when I fist it up, you can see
That's so
my pinky
stupid.
kind of
Like, it
sticking
can
up.
go 90 degrees, but just in the fist form, it stays up.
Yeah, so in fist form, it kind of sticks up like a little bit. You know, like when you were young, you make like and the glass
What the
windows
heck are you
frosted.
talking about?
so
Oh, you're
when
making
you're
the
young-
footprints with your hand.
Yeah, when you make the footprints on the glass with your hands, like you like fist your hands and you like stamp it on the window,
Sophia.
and then you use like your finger to make a toe. Like my toe, one of them would look weird because my pinky doesn't fold all the way, so it looks like I have a pointy foot rather than like a flat
I
foot.
don't
You know,
think anyone's going to understand what we're talking about right now.
Okay, so then you're just gonna have to take a picture of you stamping it because you're in winter, and then you're just gonna. Yeah, so Sally's gonna stamp her toe.
Well,
like,
I'm not
her
going to stamp my
fingers on the window.
toe.
And then she
I
will
don't
put
have
it on
an OnlyFans,
Instagram.
excuse me. Why would I
So
show
she'll
her?
put it on Instagram. I can't do it because I'm in summer, but she's in winter, so she can do
I
it.
can
Okay.
try.
Moving on from the foot story. So, and then, I can't remember. Like, I can't remember when I talked about Swiss. If I talked about like my report writing
You
thing,
did.
how fast I wrote my report. Okay, good. I don't need to repeat myself. Because in high school, you don't have much reports. You have more projects and like presentations.
And even if you
rather
wrote an
than-
essay, it was like max like 5 pages,
yeah.
which is like completely doable like in a day.
Mm-hmm. But we ranted. So I hope you enjoyed listening to our high school story, and I hope you guys have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or dinner time whenever you're listening to this. Please remember we upload our episodes on YouTube now as well as on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And please follow our Instagram at Mixing Cultures Podcast.
Yep, I really hope you enjoyed our episode on our high school experience. I feel like next time we'll go a bit more in depth about maybe the social cliques that exist in high school, just to carry on this conversation because I feel like it's very important. So I hope you guys will tune in next week for that topic as well.
Okay, everyone. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.